What's up, party people? Wow, 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 wicka, wicka. I don't. I guess it's a thing. Today I want to talk to you about a particularly interesting subgenre that I enjoy, and it is within the realm of mysteries. Now, most of you already know that I love mysteries. I especially love mysteries that are dealing within the fantasy, science fiction arena, and I love reading. I'll talk about this at some point, but just international mysteries because I like the feel of being in a place that I'm not used to, and so even kind of the methodical process of the particular sleuths, I find that fascinating. Their little idiosyncrasies and quirks, all of it's of interest to me. So my big passions in terms of reading are usually within the fantasy, science fiction, and mystery arena. And when those three collide, oh my gosh, it's amazing. But the long and the short of it is, obviously subgenres are a thing, and this particular subgenre in the mystery arena is dealing with, religion and religious communities, or a monastic setting, or a particular convent, a sister so-and-so who is kind of like the Miss Marple, unassuming sleuth, or even the Father Brown mysteries, which I'll probably reference here soon. But there's been movies made of this, and certainly tons and tons of books that continue to come out. And so maybe you've read a few. I particularly am interested in it. It does irritate me sometimes, just because I'm very familiar, of course, with the religious scenarios, with a lot of the work that I do. It's just the kind of thing where if you're a nurse or a doctor and you're watching, whatever, Grey's Anatomy, or back in the old days, whatever, St. Elsewhere, that'll date me. If anybody recognizes that reference, you old. Like, why was I talking about doctors? Maybe I need one. Okay, so here we go. I want to talk to you about this subgenre within mysteries dealing with religion. And there's some awesome books out there. So let's start with one of the greatest classics within this arena. And it started out as a book, The Name of the Rose. Now, this is this, of course, was translated into a film, and I loved the movie. And I have not actually read yet the book, but the movie was outstanding. And my frustration is that because obviously the movie gives you the great tell at the end, I have to wait a long time before my brain starts to kind of forget what it is that I've read. And oddly, I literally just forgot a few minutes ago what I was trying to say, so it shouldn't be long now that I can read this book. I think that for those of you that are familiar with Umberto Eco, he passed away, if I recall, not too long ago, and he's probably most known for this book, but it is a classic, and I love the idea of whodunits, especially within a monastic community, and dealing with books. I mean, come on, how you doing? How you doing? Italy, a novel of stunning intelligence. France, a feast of intelligence. Germany, the most intelligent at the same. What? England, no mere detective story. Hey, bro, you need to use the word intelligent if you're going to give a blurb. I mean, what did they do? They asked, like, England, hey, England, give me your opinion on this book. France, what do you think? Well, honestly, they had a specific place in each of those countries. La Repubblica was for Italy. L'Express was for France. And I realize none of these accents are working. And the London Times Literary Supplement. I need a supplement. All right, so anyway, let's move on. Here's the complete Father Brown mysteries. And I think I remember once reading something that G.K. Chesterton had said, which was basically he spent far too long, too much time trying to figure out the specifics and the cadence of murder. G.K. Chesterton was quite a prolific writer and certainly respected within the Catholic community. Still is, actually. There's huge movements of Chestertonians, people out there who have a great love for all things Chesterton. But what's kind of fascinating is that Father Brown mysteries are loved, it seems like, by all. It doesn't matter what religious background. But of course, you have your primary Father Brown, who's going to get himself involved into the community and wanting to see not just the resolution of a wrong and making it right, but there's an interest in the soul. And I actually think that that's kind of one of the great blessings of the series, is that you do get that part of it within the presentation. So that's nice. Here's another one. Again, people like the idea of a priest, I guess, solving crimes, but Father Dowling Mysteries, Ralph McInerney. I've only read one of these books. Is that like a marijuana leaf? The Grass Widow. Sorry. What's up? We're gonna weed out the problem. Okay. Obviously, I'm not well versed in the marijuana. I have to be honest. I haven't read too many of these to give a great assessment as a whole. I'm going to guess these are pretty dated, but whatever. So these are some cool little hardcovers. Father Dowling Mysteries, Her Death of Cold, The Seventh Station, Bishop as Pawn, Lying 3. Maybe I read Bishops at Pawn. Doesn't matter. So again, Peter Tremaine is another. Sister Fidelma Mysteries. So there's tons of these out right now, and usually these are taking place obviously within religious communities, and there's going to be that primary, sleuth. So Sister Fidelma and Eognacht, princess and sister to the King of Cashel, a religious of the Celtic Church and an advocate of the Brehorn Court, is one of the most interesting and compelling figures in contemporary mystery fiction. In this collection of short mysteries, Tremaine fills in many of the background details of Fidelma and 7th century Ireland not found in the novels, and weaves his always beguiling mix of history and mystery. So whatever, that really told us very little, except this is a collection of short stories dealing with that world. Here's another background for that. Let's just kind of check this out. In the year of our Lord 664, the Irish Church and the Church of Rome taught different Christian doctrines. They did. The young Sister Fidelma of Kildare was among those asked to attend, and trained as an advocate of the Irish courts. She was to rule on issues of law. Instead, she was plunged into unholy murder. What? Did not see that coming. Here's another nun, Sister Mary Helen Mystery, by Sister Carol Ann O'Mare. Sister Carol Ann O'Mare, and she's writing a Sister Mary Helen Mystery. What? This lighting, again, is driving me nuts. All right, murder makes a pilgrimage. That's not really what makes a pilgrimage. Death goes on retreat. Well, okay. And then the missing Madonna. Where'd she go? I read all of these books I'm going to show you next. David Manuel, I don't think he writes anymore in this. I wish he did. I wish this was put out with Paraclete Press, and A Matter of Roses. There's 4 books in the series. A Matter of Time, A Matter of Principle, and A Matter of Diamonds. Now, let me just say, if you like the idea of a mystery in a religious community, but maybe you don't want it to be specifically within the Catholic, a convent or a monastery or whatever, well, This is a series that's kind of a ecumenical. It's I don't know what kind of denomination it would be, but it seems to be a little bit more. There's a cadence and a religious kind of milieu that's there, and you have this brother and even a celibate lifestyle, but you're not getting a ton of doctrine, which is you're not getting a ton of doctrine in any of these. It's just kind of the backdrop to the mystery, to the murder. But this is a little bit more ecumenically neutral. And I mean, I don't really know that a person wants that in their religious reading, but when you're having a mystery, it's not bad. And I found that the books are really well done. I mean, they're put together pretty nicely, but unfortunately, I don't think that they're being published anymore. So they had this kind of cool artwork, kind of that stained glass window vibe, at least for this one. I think you could probably find these online somewhere to purchase, and I don't know that they're available on. But they would have to be available on some sort of digital format, I'm going to guess as well. But that's a lot of guessing going on. I do like it. I think this kind of takes place in the maybe the New England area as well. So I don't frequent that area a ton, but I've been there enough to know that it was really capturing the scene pretty well. It was beautiful. So a couple others are here's a guy named Michael Jecks, and Michael Jecks has written a ton of these books, the Knights Templar Mysteries. Now it's predominantly, now we're getting into more of a different kind of subgenre where people like Steve Barry and some of the others out there have written, and people like the idea of the Knights Templar and having mysteries around that, obviously. But of course, there's going to be a little bit of a religious connection as well. I mean, at that point, I'm opening the can almost to a lot of the, even Bernard Cornwell stuff and yada yada. But again, I kind of like the subgenre of you have that religious context, and there's something very fascinating about a monastic and a religious lifestyle. It's not familiar to me. Obviously, I'm a married guy with kids, so I like being thrown into a new world, as I've mentioned a few times. Here's The Oath, Michael Jecks, and this is Dispensation of Death, the one I keep holding up. It's kind of hard to see, but Michael Jecks is he's written a ton of books in this series. 1326, in an England riven with conflict, knight and peasant alike find their lives turned upside down by the warring factions of Edward II and his estranged queen Isabella. Yet even in such times, a brutal slaughter of an entire family. That sounds comforting. Right down to a babe in arms still has the power to shock. 3 further murders follow, each seemingly unconnected. A bailiff, Simon Padgett, is drawn into a web of intrigue, vengeance, power, greed as Sir Roger Mortimer, Queen Elizabeth's lover, charges him to investigate the killings. So basically, I don't think there's much religion at all in this. I'm going to have to do a little research and read this. So anyway, there's a few books that kind of have you in a religious kind of milieu. And while, again, none of these are overtly intense in terms of their doctrine, nothing's trying to shove any type of teaching down your throat, it's still enjoyable. So maybe the last book to mention, or series to mention, is the Mystical Paths. I know, again, that there's tons of others out there, but my dad, I believe, sent me this. I don't know why I told you that, and why would you care? But I was sent these books by Susan Howich, the Mystical Paths. There's a number of them in this series, and from what I've gathered is that it does take place in a small little English town of Starbridge, and there's the medieval cathedral there, and kind of this religious backdrop, political, even sexual intrigue that surrounds each of these mysteries. So this might kind of fit in this genre, but again, I'm not as familiar with it. Ultimate Prizes is one. These are mass market paperbacks. Scandalous Risks, and Glittering Images. So I don't know if you've read any of these, but if you have, I'd love to hear what you think of them. So I'm a big fan, again, of the mystery genre, and I certainly love that subgenre of kind of a religious community backdrop, convent, monastery, that type of thing. If you have some suggestions, I'd love to hear from you, and just put them in the comments below. So anyway, check out the all the good stuff. We've got the the Amazon wish list that's there in the comments area, or in the little menu area, and then there's there's kind of this Discord opportunity that I've created. If you want to join me there and just talk about books, a lot of this stuff I'm kind of really getting rolling in, and I'm loving it. So I just want to just share that and see if we could kind of build a cool little community where we encourage one another. So long and short of it is, I love this stuff. I hope you do too.